everyone, this is MarjMartin and welcome again to another episode of MChronicles. So for this legal series, meron tayong mga questions na pinagsama-sama ko from all the questions that was raised to me in my years of practice about nullity, annulment of marriage sa Pilipinas. So, ang ginawa ko, pinagsama-sama ko na lang yung mga tanong para meron tayong mga specific lang na sasagutin. Pero, disclaimer lang po, itong mga questions na sasagutin ko, I will just give general answers and I try to be more specific. But if you have further questions, please don't forget, just comment down below and I'll try to answer you dun sa comment box na lang later on. But for purposes of this vlog, we will only answer questions in a general sense, okay? So without further ado, these are 10 questions and answers about annulment in the Philippines. Okay? So now let's proceed. First question. Kinasal kami sa isang Catholic church. Nakuha na namin ang aming annulment decree from the court. Para ba makapagpakasal ulit sa Catholic church, kailangan ko pa bang kumuha ng church annulment? Ang sagot dyan, yes! Kailangan mo pa pong kumuha ng church annulment because under the Catholic doctrine or the law of the church, kailangan meron kang annulment din from the church before you get married ulit sa simbahang Katoliko. So even if meron ka ng civil annulment decree from the court, hindi yun enough para makapagpakasal ka sa simbahang Katoliko. Pero enough na yung civil annulment decree mo para makapagpakasal ka ulit civilly before the mayor, before the judge, or pwede kang makapagpakasal sa ibang mga religions na tumatanggap na ng annulment decree lang from the court, na hindi na kailangan ng church annulment. Okay? Because civil and church annulment are two different things. Hindi sila parehas. Remember, we have what we call the separation of the church and state. So kung tulad ko, napakasal ako sa Catholic na simbahan, if I want to get married again in the Catholic church, kailangan mag-annulment ulit ako sa Catholic church aside from the annulment that I will file or get, annulment decree rather, that I will get from the court of law in the Philippines. Okay? So, there you go. Now we proceed to the second question. Kinasal ako sa Pilipinas. Nang ibang bansa ako at naging American citizen na. Pagdating sa Amerika, nag-file ako ng annulment or divorce nung kasal ko sa Pilipinas. Recognized ba ng Philippine law ang divorce decree ng Amerika? Ang sagot, yes. Only if nung nag-file ka ng divorce mo, ay American citizen ka na. Remember, sa Philippine law, nire-recognize natin ang kahit anumang divorce decree issued by a foreign country kung ang nag-file nito ay a foreigner. So, ibig sabihin, kunwari ako, naging Amerikano na ako or naging kahit anong citizen man ako, ng ibang country, hindi na Pilipino, pero pinanganak akong Pilipino, nag-file ako ng divorce against my Filipino wife or Filipino husband doon sa bansa kung saan ako naging citizen at nag-grant doon, ang kailangan ko lang gawin ay mag-file ng petition to judicially recognize the divorce decree sa Philippine courts. At pag kayo na-approve ng korte, pwede na ako magpakasal ulit. Hindi ko na kailangan pang mag-file ng annulment sa Pilipinas. Pero take note, this does not apply kung ang nag-file ng petition ay Filipino pa. Ibig sabihin, kunwari ako, ng ibang bansa ako, immigrant pa lang ang status ko, for example, sa Canada, hindi pa ako Canadian citizen, pwede ba ako mag-file ng divorce? Sa Canadian law, yes, you can file a divorce, pero that divorce will not be recognized in the Philippines. Mare-recognize lang yon kapag ikaw ay citizen na ng country na nag-aalaw ng divorce. Next, related question. Paano kung Pilipino ako, ang asawa ko foreigner? Yung foreigner ngayon na asawa ko, ang nag-file ng divorce against sa akin. Pwede bang i-recognize ng Philippine court yung divorce na final ng asawa ko para ako naman sa Pilipinas makapagpakasal ulit? Yes. Okay, tandaan nyo, basta foreign national yung nag-file ng divorce decree, that divorce decree can be recognized in the Philippines. So, hindi nyo na kailangan mag-file ng annulment, kailangan nyo lang mag-file ng judicial recognition of that foreign judgment of divorce. Okay? Sana malinaw. Let's now proceed to the third question. How long ba ang tinatagal ng annulment or nullity of marriage sa Pilipinas? Ang sagot, depende po iyan. Pwede pong 1 year, pwede pong 2 years, pwede pong 3 years, pwede pong 6 years. It depends po sa complications at saka circumstances surrounding your petition. So for example, it is a contested petition. Kapag contested petition siya, what happens is, mas napapatagal. Kasi you will have to present more witnesses, you will have to have more court hearings dahil doon. So, mas nagiging magastos din kapag contested yung ating mga petitions of annulment or petition for declaration of nullity of marriage. Next question. Related na sa ating third question, magkano ba ang nagagastos sa pagpapaanal ng isang kasal sa Pilipinas? Ang sagot dyan, it depends kung sino ang abogado mo at it depends din sa rate ng abogado mo. Unfortunately, in the Philippines, wala tayong usual or regular rates for all lawyers. It varies. It depends on the expertise of the lawyer. It depends also on the how big or how huge or recognized yung firm ng lawyer mo. So, may mga variations yan na nag-a-affect sa presyo ng rates ng acceptance fees ng mga abogado. Pero, to give you an idea, ang binabayaran usually dyan, meron kang acceptance fees at iba pa dyan yung ating appearance fees na binabayaran mo per appearance sa court or minsan during also meetings. And third, iba pa dyan yung expenses mo for miscellaneous, for example, yung printing, yung mailing, yung filing fee sa court, yun, lahat charge yun sa'yo. So, it depends talaga yan sa lawyer. So, kung psychological incapacity pa ang basis mo for nullity, you have to also pay your doctor. At yung doctor mo, may acceptance and appearance fees din sila during the time na mag-witness sila sa court. So, it really depends. So, bawat lawyer po, iba-iba po ang presyo. Iba-iba po ang standard. Kasi unfortunately sa Pilipinas, wala pa tayong regular rates. Okay? Next. Fifth question. Pwede bang magpakasal ng non-appearance sa Pilipinas? Ang sagot natin dyan, no, 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 no. Kasi under Philippine law, kailangan mong magpakasal na nakaharap ka in a ceremony. The three valid elements of a marriage are, number 1, there should be authority to solemnizing officer. Ibig sabihin yung magpapakasal sa'yo, may authority. Pinayagan ng batas na magkasal. Sino yung mga yan? Si judge, si mayor, si parish priest, si pastor ng inyong simbahan, among others. Pwede magkasal? Si lawyer ba? Na normal lawyer na notary public? Ako, pwede ba ako pakasal? Hindi po.
What?
Po, pwedeng magpakasal ang mga abogado lang.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Kailangan po sila ay huwes at sila po ay mayor. So, tandaan niyo po yan. Kapag ka po meron po nagsabi na magpapakasal sa harapan ng abogado tapos magnonotaryo lang po kayo, that's not a valid marriage in the Philippines because your solemnizing officer do not have the authority to conduct or celebrate the said marriage. Okay po? Second requirement, kailangan po meron tayong valid marriage license. Okay, yung marriage license po natin, kinukuha po natin doon sa ating city hall or municipal hall. Third requirement, kailangan meron tayong marriage ceremony where the two contracting parties appear before the solemnizing officer in the presence of their witnesses. So, kailangan po, para maging valid po yung kasal nyo, kailangan po kayong dalawa nakaharap doon sa inyong solemnizing officer. So, kung sa pari man yan, o sa mayor man yan, o sa west man yan, kailangan po kayong dalawa nakaharap at dapat po meron din po kayong witnesses. So, ibig sabihin po niyan, hindi po pwede na magpakasal nang hindi po kayo nag-a-appear. There is no such thing as non-appearance marriage. Okay po. Sixth question. Pwede bang magpakasal ng walang marriage license? Ang sagot? Yes! Pwede pong magpakasal ng walang marriage license. Nasabi natin kanina, hindi po ba, na isa sa requirement ng valid marriage ay kailangan may marriage license ka. Bakit ngayon sinasabi ko na pwede magpakasal ng walang marriage license? Sinasabi natin na pwede magpakasal ng walang marriage license because under our family code, may mga circumstances na inaalawang batas na pwede magpakasal ang dalawang tao kahit walang marriage license. Ano ang mga ito? Number 1, kapag kayo ay nagsama ng parang mag-asawa sa iisang bubong for at least 5 years at walang legal impediment ang pagsasama ninyo. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Kapag kayo ay nagsama within 5 years, at least 5 years rather, ng iyong partner, at wala kayong problema legal, ibig sabihin parehas po kayo na nagsama kayo, 18 years and old and above na. Number 2, nung nagsama kayo, wala kayo parehas asawa, hindi kayo parehas kasal. Pangatlo, hindi kayo magkapatid or relatives na within the degree allowed by the court for civil degree of consanguinity. Then, pwede at iba pang mga legal impediments. If that's the case, then pwede kayong mag-execute lang ng affidavit of cohabitation at pwede na kayong mag-asawa. That's one. Second, kapag it is a marriage in articulo mortis. When you say in articulo mortis, it is in the point of death. For example, nandun kayo sa isang airplane, yung airplane, and then dun sa airplane na yon meron mag-boyfriend, dalawa, girlfriend. Ngayon, yung lalaki, biglang inaatake sa puto, talaga mamamatay na talaga siya. As in the brink of death na siya, and it will take, yung time to take to land, parang clinically sinabi sa imposible nang ma-reach niya yung nearest landing port. The pilot of that airplane can celebrate the marriage. Let's proceed to the 7th question. Kapag ka ba sinabi na ako ay psychologically incapacitated, ibig sabihin ba siraulo ako? Ang sagot, no! Yan ang isa sa pinakamalaking misconception natin sa Pilipinas. Pag sinabing psychological incapacitated ako, gagi siraulo yun kinasuhan ako, nag-petition for nullity of marriage namin, sabi ba naman psychologically incapacitated ako? Hindi ako siraulo siyang siraulo, okay? Mali, ang notion natin na siraulo ang isang tao na pag sinabi na psychologically incapacitated siya in the context of nullity of marriage. Pag sinabi natin psychologically incapacitated, ibig sabihin nun ay they are psychologically incapacitated to perform the essential marital obligations. Ibig sabihin, yung hindi sila capable, psychologically capable para maging asawa, maging tatay, maging nanay in that respect. Yun ang sinasabi ng batas. Kaya iyon ay pwede maging ground para mapawalang bisa ang kasal nyo. Pero, hindi sinasabi ng batas na siraulo ka. In fact, even if you were declared psychologically incapable during the annulment or nullity of your marriage, you can still contract a second marriage. Although questionable yun in some legal parlance kasi you were already declared psychologically incapable. Why can you still marry? Ang psychological incapacity should be rooted, deeply rooted, and should have a historical background and should be permanent. It should be incurable. Kaya lang, sa Philippine law right now, or sa Philippine setting natin, we don't have a way to have that limitation na kapag napanalify yung marriage mo on the basis of psychological incapacity, that psychologically incapable partner or spouse can no longer marry. Wala tayong ganong limitation. So, that means to say, then, that strengthens the fact na hindi ka naman siraulo. So, please, let's forget that. Let's not think of people who were declared psychologically incapable to contract marriage as insane people. They're not insane people, okay? They are only called as such legally for the purpose of the nullity of their marriage. Okay po? Now, let's proceed to the 8th question. Natanggap ko na ang desisyon ng korte na nagsasabi na annulled or nullified na ang kasal namin ng asawa ko. Pwede na ba akong mag-asawa ulit agad-agad? Ang sagot dyan, no. Tandaan nyo po, para po makapagpakasal ulit, hindi po enough ang desisyon ng korte. Kailangan po, hintayin po natin maging final ang decision na yon. Kaya kailangan po natin hintayin yung certificate of finality from the court. Kailan ba naging final ang decision? Kapag ka po, tapos na po nag-motion for reconsideration, nag-appeal, or nag-appeal ng desisyon ng korte at na-deny na po siya at sinabi po ng korte na denied, tapos na, final na ang kaso. Pag sinabi po ng korte na gano'n, then you can get the certificate of finality from the court and you file it with the civil registrar office kung saan po kayo kinasal. You get a certificate from the civil registrar na na-file na yung certificate of finality, you bring it back to the court, and pagka nakuha na ng court yun, that's the time that the court will issue you the nullity or annulment decree. And that's the only time na pwede kayo magpakasal. Remember, hindi upon judgment of the court. It should be upon issuance of the annulment or nullity decree. Okay po? So, huwag po tayo agad nagmamadali magpakasal. Hinay-hinay lang po. Hold your horses. Anyway, so for question number 9. Gusto naming maghiwalay ng asawa ko. Pwede ba kaming maggawa ng kasulatan sa barangay o sa harapan ng abogado na sinasabi na kami ay ilang taon nang magkahiwalay at pwede na ulit kaming makisama sa ibang tao or sa ibang partner at magpakasal ulit? Ang sagot dyan, no. Remember, bawal po, illegal po ang ganong mga kasulatan. Para po makapagpakasal kayo ulit or makisama sa iba, kailangan po meron kayong nullity decree from the court. Hindi po pwede nakasulatan lang sa barangay, kasulatan lang sa harapan ni mayor, kasulatan lang sa harapan ni governor, kasulatan lang sa harapan ni attorney, ang notary public, or kung sino man pong Poncio Pilato. Korte lang po. Annulment decree, nullity decree from the court lang ang kailangan nyo pong makuha. So, you really have to file a petition with the court. So, sabihin mo, teka lang, pumayag kang makisama ako eh. Ngayon, kakasuhan mo ako ng bigamy or ng concubinage for living in with a woman or another man? Hindi pwede yan. Nagkusulatan tayo. Pwede po bang gamitin yan? No. The fact po na kasal pa kayo legally, sa mata ng batas, ang asawa nyo po, yung asawa nyong nauna. Kahit sino pa po ang kasamahin nyo at kahit sino pa po ang pumayag para magsama kayo ng bagong partner. Tandaan nyo po yan, hindi po pwede ang kasulatan lang. In the same way as, kunwari po, minor pa po sila at para po hindi na mag-asawa or nahuli nyo po sa isang hindi magandang sitwasyon, yung mag-boyfriend na mga bata, para po hindi na sila maghiwalay or para ma-lock up na sila sa isa't isa, gagawa po kayo ng mga kasulatan sa harapan ng kahit sino pong tao ulit, barangay or kung sino man, abogado, kasama ang mga magulang, sabihin na sila ay hindi na pwedeng magpakasal dahil sila na ay tinuturing mag-asawa. Bawal din po yun. Now, for the last and final question. Ano po ba ang pinagkaiba ng annulment, nullity of marriage, legal separation, at separated in fact? In short po, sa simpleng explanation po, sasagutin ko po yan ng short lang. Ang pinagkaiba po ng apat na yan, ito. Under nullity at annulment of marriage, kapag nag-grant po yan ng korte, ay hindi na po kayo mag-asawa. Severed na yung inyong marital tie. Pero for legal separation, hindi po severed ang inyong marital ties. Ang meron lang po dyan, pinapayagan lang po kayo ng korte na mag-separate ng bahay at i-separate po ang inyong mga properties. Pero mag-asawa pa rin po kayo. At sa separated in fact naman po, yung kumbaga, naghiwalay na sila, hindi na sila nagsama ng matagal na panahon, hindi na sila nagkikita, separated in fact po yun. So yun po yung pinagkaiba ng apat. Ito pong dalawa, yung nullity at annulment, lagi po natin yan nako-confuse. Anong pinagkaiba po niyan? Ang pinagkaiba po niyan, ito po. Ang nullity of marriage, pag sinabi ang kasal mo ay null and void, petition for nullity of marriage po ang final mo doon. Ibig po sabihin dyan, from the very beginning po, hindi po valid ang kasal. So ano po ba yun? Ibig sabihin po, nung ikinasal kayo, minor po yung asawa nyo. Nung ikinasal kayo, wala kayong marriage license. Nung kinasal kayo, walang authority, yung solemnizing officer nyo, at walang nangyaring ceremony. Null and void po ang kasal nyo. Ibig sabihin, there's no marriage to speak of. Burado, walang nangyaring valid na kasal under the law. So, nullity of marriage means your marriage was null and void from the very beginning. So, pag null and void siya from the very beginning, dyan ka po magpa-file ng petition to declare nullity of marriage. So, annulment naman po, there was a valid marriage until the court declared it to be annulled. So, anong grounds mo for annulment? Number 1, kapag walang consent. Katulad po ng sabi ko kanina, pag 18 to 21 years old, kailangan po may parental consent. Pag walang parental consent po, pwede pong maanal ang kasal. Number 2, vitiated consent. Ibig sabihin, tinakot ka, niloko ka, at tinreten ka para magpakasal. Yun po, vitiated consent. Kapag ka ganun po, pwede pong ipaanal ang kasal. Pangatlo, pwede ding insanity, siraulo, or kaya po, pwede rin po kapag ka kinonceal mo po yung sexually transmitted disease mo. Pwede rin po kapag ka impotent. So, na kinonceal mo yung impotence mo. All these may be basis for the annulment of marriage. So, magkaiba po ang annulment and nullity of marriage kasi ang annulment po, nire-recognize niya that there was a valid marriage but it was just annulled by the court due to several grounds or any of the grounds mentioned. Ang nullity of marriage naman po, walang valid na kasal in the beginning. Pero, sumatotal, parehas lang po ang epekto ng nullity at annulment of marriage. Legally speaking, or simply speaking, parehas lang po ang epekto niya kasi po, wala na pong visa ang kasal. Pero iba po, syempre, disclaimer, iba din po ang effect ng annulment when it comes to properties and of course, legitimacy of the children. Iba po ang effect nyon. Pero parehas pong epekto nila na pagdating po sa validity ng kasal. Tapos na po ang kasal, wala na pong visa. So there you go. I hope you learned something from this vlog. If you have more questions, please don't hesitate rather to comment down below para masagot ko po. I will try my best to answer simply and explain it clearly po sa inyo. But I really hope that this was able to help clarify your concerns when it comes to marriage. So there. Thank you again for watching. This has been your Konsehala Mama, MarjMartin. See you again next time. Like and subscribe!